Okay, I got to vent. I'm venting. Um, uh, I've been writing to this boy. His name's Kevin, and he's incarcerated here in Arkansas. I worked with his dad several years ago at a place called Gaston's, and he's real down to earth type guy. Real, just kind of he was what he was. He is who he is. Take it or leave it, like it or don't. He's kind of a hippie type dude. Just, real chill. Loved his kids more than life itself. I mean, that's all we ever talked about were our kids, because I was a single mom, he's a single dad. Any mother that can leave her children, I cannot understand it. I mean, just abandon them, like just leave. I don't understand that. And I'm not trying to rag on anyone or condemn anybody because that's not for me to do. I'm just saying I don't understand it. So anyway, I never noticed when the dad and I were working together that his son had been in trouble because, everybody around here makes a habit out of going online and looking at Baxter County inmate, Marion County inmate. They put everyone's pictures on there. They put them on KTLO radio. Put them in the fucking newspaper. Hey, is there anyone else that needs to know? Did you get a hold of the LA Times? No, fuck it, motherfucker. Shit. Let's just go straight to God. Let's just tell God and let him tell everybody else. It's just ignorant. It's just another way of humiliating somebody who's already humiliated, obviously, or we wouldn't be in trouble. Notice I said we. But, this kid, and I looked him up on Google just because I wanted to see, because I've looked myself up on Google before, and there's my mug shots. There's all the music I listen to. There's my smule. There's this. There's that. You got my DNA, my firstborn. What else you got? Fingernail clippings? Jesus Christ. Let me take a shit for you. I'll send that to you, too. No, but I'm just, this kid's so appreciative of me writing him. And I want to say I did it out of the blue, but I feel like I had a little bit of a nudge that got to my mama gut. And we know who that was from, his daddy. Because I feel like he was left here alone, and he's probably, now what do I do? Even if he was fucked up, at least if his dad was here to kind of pull him back in and straighten him out. But then he felt like he had no one. So he's like, fuck it. I'll go out and steal cars and break into whatever storage units or whatever. He didn't commit murder. He didn't do anything crazy like that. He doesn't have any dope convictions, but I could tell by his mugshot that he was definitely on meth. And that's obvious. And it's a sad, sad, sad thing. So actually it's a blessing that he is where he is. Because one, now that this girl that he's so much in love with, he called her his wife. And she said, we never married. And I knew that. But I did it. I said, his wife and da-da-da-da. I played along with the game because I wanted to see what she came back with. And I asked her, will you write him? The first time she said, oh yeah, I'll write him soon. It's been 2 months. He ain't heard a word from her. If she ain't wrote yet, motherfucker, she's long gone, okay, on the Rice-A-Roni train. You can't even fucking smell the bitch no more. She bolted. You know why? Because she wants to keep doing dope. And you can't do that for her anymore. So she got to stay with whoever she can. But, they're young. I don't know how young she is. I know he's 24, so... Thank God young enough to start over, and I hope to God that I can do something for this kid to keep him off the fucking dope and keep him on the straight train after he gets over his heartbreak. Maybe his heartbreak will humble him a little bit. I'm like, things have to happen like that. It takes really getting knocked loose like a long-necked goose before some of us ever fucking wake up. For some people, it takes a lot more than that. Some people don't even make it long enough to wake up. You know what I'm saying? And that's not where I want this kid to go because for some reason, God's telling me I just feel responsible for this kid. And I know he could do so much better, even just by the letters that he writes. He writes like any typical boy, how they write Little Chicken Scratch. But, I mean, it's legible. And he definitely doesn't talk like he's a dummy. You know, there's so many things that he's got ahead of him, and those of us that are something know that because we've already been down that road once or twice or 3 or 4 times. But and I definitely know what it's like to have a broken heart, but you know, especially being locked up when you have no control over anything. And like I said, thank God he doesn't. Because if he was free right now and this was going on, no telling what he would do to himself or do to somebody else. So that's why I say things happen for a reason. We all know that. So, I don't know. I'm just doing my best I can to keep conversation with him because I know there's times in my life where, I mean, I didn't do any real jail time. Altogether, I did 10 days. I did 5 days for revocation of a bench warrant, and then I did another 5 days for falsifying a police report. See, I got my ass kicked, but because I told him it happened at his house, or at my house and not at his house, that makes me makes me a misdemeanor. No, it makes me falsifying a police report. So they let someone who has documented for years, long before me, they said, domestic abuse. They let him skip, and I go to jail for 5 days. While my son sits at home by himself. Mind you, he's not a child, but he needs to have somebody watch him. He needs to have someone with him. So, yeah, these kids they don't really get the whole realm of death is death. That's the end. You know, if you try to commit suicide, try to kill yourself, overdose, whatever you do, run amok, get out and run from the cops and get in a wreck or something, you know, once it's done, brother, it's done. But you can't turn back and say, wait. I want to do it again. I want to fix this. Right now is the time to fix it. And if there's any kids listening to me right now, listen to me, okay? If you're doing fucking dope and you're running amok with a bunch of crazy motherfuckers, you have one way to go, and it's not up. There's never been a happy dope dealer. There's never been a successful dope dealer. You're not the mafia or the mob or whatever. And were they successful? Yeah, well, see what I'm saying? I mean, it's the devil's dandruff. It is. And it's a one-way ticket to hell. So if you are doing dope, you need to straighten your ass up. Get a hold of me. I'll straighten you up. I've been hooked on dope for many, many years. And then I cleaned up and sobered up for 12 years. And then I got into this fucked up relationship and I got hooked up in it again and sobered up again. And, you know, it's a vicious cycle. And there's nothing but trouble. There's nothing but grief. There's nothing but bad things that can come from any of it. And you don't want to start your young lives that way. And you definitely don't want to spend the rest of your life in prison, you know, because you couldn't stay away from dope or because you couldn't stay away from the thugs or the gang members or whatever you're doing. You know, I used to always think my parents were stupid because they were kind of, you know, very white, straight-laced type parents. I mean, they drank and stuff, but they didn't know anything about drugs or any of that. We didn't talk about sex, not openly. My mom would blush. And these days, things are a lot different. We have to seriously sit our kids down and think about, you know, make sure, be positive. Know that you know that you know that you know that your kids aren't doing drugs. Because, you know, like my oldest one, I didn't know he was drinking when he was drinking. He was 18, 19, 17. But he's in the Army now, so. Because I kicked his ass straight. I ain't putting up with that shit up in here. And none of you kids, I better not hear not one bad thing about any of you kids giving your parents trouble. Because I'll tell you what, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to haunt you when you have your own kids. 10 times over. Be good, be straight, stay safe.